All right, so we're going on the air here. Stand by. And that's me if you forget my name. Brent.
Your host hasn't seen everything in sports, but sometimes he acts like it, and his guests probably have. Now, your sports guy, Brent Weber.
Thanks for being with us, because we're going to have some fun. This is a sport that I used to watch when I was a kid. Oh, we hear so many people say that when it was a big deal back when I was a kid, which most of these athletes were not even in the world back then. But it has endured, and it is roller derby. And Shasta Derby has now become, and it is steadily growing as one of the more respected teams, organizations, and they're playing in a league, a group that is really gaining a lot of notoriety. Typically, roller derby was big in the Southland and big back east, way back east. It was it was that kind of sport, and now it has become more and more popular in the Northwest and here. And we'll talk to several folks tonight, but that's what we're doing tonight. We are out at Big League Dreams. We'll talk a little bit more about what the folks are doing out here, because we appreciate them letting us come in. We're out at Big League Dreams, where the women of Shasta Roller Derby are preparing for their finale of 2019. They will take on their nemesis from Chico, the NorCal girls, and this is coming up Saturday at 5:30. Gates open here at 6:30. Will be the whistle, the horn to start it all off. And if you haven't ever been out here, it's a family event. We'll talk more about that with the ladies. But enough about me. We're going to meet quite a few of them. Our first is Alesia Barnett, who you've been with Shasta Roller Derby for a couple of years. Mom of three. You work at Nice Shot Range, so you're a firing instructor? Or?
I'm working on that. I actually just started there about 3 weeks ago, and I love the job.
And also studying to become an RN, and I think this will be the end of basically your second season with the group, right?
Yes, it is.
You were an athlete as a young person. Why? No?
No, I was a band geek.
You were a band geek?
Yeah.
What instrument?
I flute.
So here you are. What in the world are you doing out here at roller derby? You raised 3 kids. Isn't that enough abuse? I love kids. You know.
No, I've always loved skating. I've been skating since I was 3 years old, and I lost myself in being a mom and just wanted to rediscover me as a person. So I saw the commercial for Liquor Barn, and so I sent them a message on Facebook, and that's where it all began.
It's a great commercial. By the way, I introduced her as Alesia Barnett, but fans, and they're very serious about this. This is Mama Smackdown.
Yes, sir.
And you wear number 707. Why 707? There's significance to everything in roller derby.
It's actually the area code of where I was first scouted out at a birthday party over in Crescent City.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the game itself, what a match is about, how scoring and all that happens. But really, I think for you're a perfect example of somebody who, I don't want to say didn't know what to expect.
Not at all.
But it's the same thing, I think, when anybody comes out here for the first time. This isn't a smoky bar room.
No.
This isn't some joke. These are good athletes.
Yes.
Playing a competitive game, and it does get a little rough, and it does get a lot rough, just like you would think. Nothing fake's happening out here, but beyond that, the experience. Families, kids, I don't know how many moms we have on this team, but a lot.
Probably about half the team are moms.
And so when you first came out to experience this, what was it like?
I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect because, a lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions about roller derby, about how we use elbows and fists and just bloody each other up, and it wasn't it at all. They just we have an amazing newbie coach who trains you from the ground up, basically, and about 3 months into it, you start scrimmaging a little bit with the other girls, and they know you're new. They acknowledge that, so they don't try to destroy you, but they do challenge you and they build you up. And I actually am really fortunate to become a part of this team, because one of my favorite things and what kept me here was the team spirit within it. We all bring each other up. There's no cattiness or anything. We're all sisters in this together, and they want you to play with them. They want to know that they can count on you, so they want you to be the best you can be.
We're talking to Alesia Barnett, who is one of the members of Shasta Roller Derby, and Mama Smackdown is talking a little bit about just the experience. We are out at Big League Dreams in Reading, and anybody who's seen where the rink is, where there's roller hockey, this place Saturday, people will start, they'll start with their blankets, and they'll be setting up their chairs, and their chairs upon chairs, and it's families, and some of you guys have relatives that drive a long way, and talk about that experience for the fan to come out, because you don't really have to know roller derby to get it.
No, most of the time in the beginning of the game, they'll give a demonstration for anyone who's new to the sport or haven't seen it for a while and needs a little bit of an update. So, yeah.
But what's the crowd like? Describe what that's like, because you said you didn't play sports when you were young, other than you said you loved to skate. But you've obviously been. You're a band geek, you tell us. So you've obviously been to high school games, matches, college, I'm sure.
Marching band.
Yeah, so you know what crowds are like. This crowd is right here, and you feel them, don't you?
They're wild. Yeah, we do, absolutely.
One of my best friends in town is here, and going to hopefully get Grizzly Bear to join us in a little bit. Go ahead. Yeah, they're loud, but they're not intimidating. They're fun, right?
Yeah, they get really excited when things get a little chaotic, which is always really great. When you're in the moment, though, on the track, you almost don't notice the excitement until it gets extremely loud, and then you get excited yourself because you realize you did something great, and it just continues on from there. So
I would guess there's probably a flip of the coin just from having talked to a few of you. Some of you strong skaters, that's a plus for you. Yeah. The other part, a couple of people I know played soccer, played basketball, volleyball. There's a little bit of that soccer basketball elbow thing that they bring in was I'm looking, no offense, but I'm looking at the bruises, and those definitely come from being out here. How big an advantage was it for you to be able to skate like that, and how long did it take you to kind of get used to the physicality?
I've been here for about a little over a year and a half, and I feel like I'm still not quite used to it, but we went over to play in Eureka, and
I'm selfieing us.
We went over to play in Eureka, and it was a blast. That was one of my first games where things started really clicking for me, and I did some really cool things. We have some really amusing terms that we use. The girl with the star helmet on, the helmet covers are called panties.
That's right.
So the girl with the star helmet, she'll sometimes take her panty off and pass it to the pivot who has a stripe on her helmet. And I saw that pivot come over my shoulder, and I knew that I needed to target the pivot. So I went and did some things to her that maybe made her squeal a little bit, made her fall. But it was great, and that was the moment for me that I realized I can do this. I can do the right things, because as a growing skater, you're constantly questioning yourself whether or not you're good enough or if you're doing it right. And so it was a really moment of just pure being high on the sport.
Right. Would be great if you could play more matches, but the reality is so much travel involved. Teams are so spread out, and look, you're a nonprofit. They're community-based organizations, and I guess that's the one thing, is trying to sustain for the fans. So that makes Saturday really important, I think, for you ladies.
Yeah, and sometimes our away games, we end up, we flip our own bill for the gas and the wear and tear on our vehicles, and sometimes we stay in hotels. So it just, sometimes we're carpool and just make it a little easier, but we always have a great time, especially the after parties.
Right, and I'm sure there'll be one coming up Saturday night. I'm pretty sure we could talk to Alesia Barnett more, but I'm going to let you get out there, get warmed up.
Okay.
We're going to pull out. I think you're going to send Crash and Burn to see me next.
Excellent.
And
she's great.
It is so great to see you, Alesia.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll get out here Saturday, although I may have to live vicariously doing my other job. There'll be a lot of people, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Looking forward to the listeners that might come out and come cheer us on.
Well, absolutely. All right, thanks. When we come back here on Scorecard Scribblings, we'll continue with Shasta Roller Derby. Crash and Burn's going to join us. She's one of the longtime veterans here and just one of the really super cool people. The league they play in is the Northern State of California is part of the league they play in. They're Women's Flat Track Derby Association. So much more to this club. And these ladies, they all have their derby names. And it's a lot of fun, but when we come back, you'll learn a little bit more, too, about just how roller derby works. You're listening to Scorecard Scribblings. We'll listen to a little fun as we go out to break. What do we got, Jared? Let's listen. I think we're going to listen to a little Jim Croce going to break.
I'll tell you a story that you won't believe, but I fell in love last Friday evening with the girl I saw on the barroom TV screen. Well, I was just getting ready to get my hat when she caught my eye, and I put it back, and I ordered myself a couple of more shots and beers. The night that I fell in love with a roller derby queen, round and round, oh round and round, the meanest hunger woman that anybody ever seen. Down in the arena, she 5'6" and a roller derby program set that she was built like a refrigerator with a head. Her fans called her Duffy, but all her buddies called her Spike.
That's one from my childhood, Jim Croce, roller derby queen, and they don't mind because it's a classic. I'm joined by my friend Crash and Burn, Catherine Sampson.
Hi.
You wear number 4.
Yes.
So let's start with, because you're going to answer some questions to think about this weekend, Saturday's finale. We'll talk a little bit about scoring in that, but we have to always ask, where does Crash and Burn come from? What's your name? Because, that's one of the nicknames in other sports are not official. Here they're official.
Yes. They only know me by Crash here on the court. The reason it came about was because the first thing they ever taught me what to do on skates was how to fall without killing myself. I'm not even kidding. And then after that, I spent about an hour and a half running into walls instead of stopping. And just crash and burn. That's all you do. Crash and burn. And it stuck. So here we are.
5.5 seasons or so later, right?
About, yeah. It's pretty crazy.
You quit counting the bruises a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
I met you several years ago when I did a story for KRCR and loved talking to you. But I remember I assumed, and assumptions generally, well, we know what they can do, but usually they come with a lack of knowledge about something, right? So I assumed that everybody was an athlete, played every other sport, and a lot of the ladies were athletes, and you guys are all athletes. Yeah. I meant as younger people in school,
came up in sports and did soccer and baseball, and no, not me at all.
You were a musical theater geek.
I was a theater geek all through high school. I was like 8 months old, I think, so sports never were a thing for me. I tried soccer, and I hated it. Absolutely despised it. And then my friends convinced me to come out here and put on a pair of skates, and I fell in love. When
people come out here, that's one thing. And I have nothing against soccer. Okay, soccer people, don't worry. But this is a whole lot faster. It doesn't take long for fans to come out. What are they seeing? We're doing it on an indoor roller hockey rink. You call it a court. So on this court, there's an oval circle.
Yes.
That's a track.
Yes.
That you have to stay on. Beyond that, how do I know what's going on?
There's 5 people from each team out at a time, 4 blockers and a jammer. The jammer has a star on her helmet. She's the one who makes points. My job as the blocker is to play offense and defense. Keep their jammer back while letting my jammer through. As she comes back around the track and laps people, every time she passes someone's hips, she gets a point. More points wins the game.
And there's a physicality, obviously, to it. Yeah. People have seen it or heard it. So your job to keep that person from getting by and to also assist and get everybody around. And we have a penalty box and things of that nature. So when you have advantages, that's when you got to rack up some points, right?
We try. Oh, yes. Every time. It's called a power jam if one of the jammers is in the penalty box. And that means that pretty much you go as hard as you can for those 30 seconds and get as many points as you possibly can until she comes back on the track. So I've seen 40 or more points come from one of those.
Now on the team, team, I mean, obviously, it looks like you've got about 20 plus players right now, I'm guessing.
Yeah. We just, we've got some newbies that just joined us and we're super excited for. They're learning really fast. It's so exciting because we all remember when we were at that stage and watching them come up. It's so fun. And then we've had some, vets come back and rejoin the team and we're just rebuilding and growing and it's so exciting. I love all of these girls. They're family to me.
Take me through a practice, so people will understand this is not powder puff stuff.
Oh gosh, no. We start up with some light stretching, a couple of laps to warm up, get going. Then we start the contact stuff, basic pushing drills, goes to hitting drills because even though it looks chaotic, there's certain ways you can hit someone. There are certain spots you can hit somebody. You can't just hit somebody in the back with your elbow. That you'll get ejected.
Right.
You have to use, your shoulders, your hips, your backside on their shoulder, hips, and backside.
Yeah, you're not using a closed fist and punching somebody in the face.
Exactly. It's not as dramatic as it was back in the day, but it's definitely a sport.
Yeah.
So then we usually, I think right now they're getting into teams and we're going to scrimmage a little bit.
Very nice. Because, obviously everybody has jobs. Everybody has different responsibilities. We've got a lot of families here, and different ages. I mean, I don't even want to guess. It doesn't matter. Everybody has to go through the same stuff. But this weekend, Saturday, it's a big day for you.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, it's the last one
for
going
this
into
season.
For this season.
It's against NorCal. They're from Chico. So we've kind of got a sibling rivalry thing going on, which is always fun. A bunch of great girls from there. And we're super excited because we want to pack everybody. Tickets are only going to be $5 this weekend, so cheaper than normal. Doors open at 5:30, whistle blow 6:30. It's always so much fun. It's indescribable. I love it.
And it's here at of course, Big League Dreams, so the concessions are open.
Yeah, there's food, there's
turkey. Be warned, there's a line there, so sometimes
if you plan it right, you'll be all right. But the tacos are definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, and you also have you guys sell T-shirts and things like that.
Yeah, we'll have merch and stuff here. We've got a fun game that we usually play during halftime where you can win merch and tickets to next season and all sorts of fun stuff.
This has been what has been the defining part of this experience for you.
For me, what has kept me going these past 5 years is the people. I mean, one of my first bouts, I remember I'm terrified, shaking in my skates out there on the track, and they called an official timeout. So we're just stuck standing there until they decided to end it or figure out whatever was going on. And the song that was playing, we all liked it. Every single girl on both teams stopped and started dancing in the middle of the track, in the middle of the game. We just had a dance party, and they're all looking at each other. Are you going to go to the after party? Yeah, let's go buy a beer later. I love pizza. And when it was time to play, it was time to play the game. But afterwards, we're all friends. And it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before in that respect. We know it's a game, and we respect each other as athletes, but we're also friends.
Right.
And I love that.
Do you remember the song?
I don't, not now. There's been so many good songs that it's hard to pick the one out.
Well, we've got some folks that have been here from the beginning and some folks that are familiar. I know we got some veterans. I'm looking for, not everybody has their names because it's practice, but look at there. Look, we got folks who've been around.
That's our co-captain Mayday. She's amazing.
Mayday and
God.
Then so who's the other? Are you the other? Who's the other co-captain?
No, Swift Demise.
Oh, Swift Demise.
Yes,
too,
she's been here since the get-go.
She was the mother. She was kind of the one who almost started it.
She's been here longer than I am. I think Vonda was officially the one who really brought this team around and really started it. She and Goody just came back too, so it's exciting. And we have a great history of roller derby here in the North State too, right? We have a Hall of Famer, I think. Yes, that is Judy Arnold. Has her picture on the wall there. She was one of the derby babes back in the day on the bank track, picking people up and setting them on her shoulders, and very theatrical and dramatic and amazing. And she is one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. Shasta Roller Derby. There you go. Sorry. She's a member of the Shasta County Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, which is here on the wall. It is. Which is another cool thing to do when you come out here to what is it, the Field House. Big League Dreams. We're the indoor soccer, hockey. I just combined those two. Yeah, it's a new sport. Well, we have been talking with Crash and Burn, numero cuatro, number 4. Known outside of this building as Catherine Sampson. Only do a very few, yes. Very few. But, looking forward to Saturday. Again, tell us what time. Doors open at 5:30. Whistle blows at 6:30. It's going to be a
all
blast.
ages, folks. Bring
Yeah, family friendly.
All right. Megahertz is going to join us next, right? So we still got another half hour or so to go here on Scorecard Scribblings. We are talking Shasta Roller Derby. This is Brent Weber here on Scorecard Scribblings. Thanks for joining us. And you can also go to their Facebook page, click on events. You can learn more about Saturday. And, of course, you can go to scorecardscribblings.com. You'll learn more about the show. But beyond that, we'll be back in just a minute. We're going to go to break with I think some you won't be able to hear it, but some of the clips from Whip It, one of my favorite.
How
exciting!
Guys,
that's a good roller derby movie.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
All right. Thanks, Crash.
Thank you.
You got to get back out there and practice.
Oh yeah.
Back in a minute. Stay with us.
What is this? Roller derby?
Welcome to skate night at the warehouse. Clean up on aisle 5.
I just want to tell you all that you're my new heroes.
Well, put some skates on. Be your own hero.
The last time I wore skates, they had Barbies on them.
I want to be her.
I guess if you knew.
You could be our mascot.
I bet you think we didn't know, didn't even see the tide change.
That's music by Tilly and the Wall. I think it's actually from the Whip It soundtrack, which is a great roller derby, a movie with roller derby at the center of it. It's I think it was Drew Barrymore's. I think she produced that. It was a big one. And we're joining this segment by known as Megahertz here, number 93.
Yes.
So yours is actually one of the maybe this isn't fair, but your name's Megan Fulham Clark.
Yeah.
So Megahertz kind of
sounds a little bit like my name, yeah.
Right. So, how did you choose that name?
I actually went for it because I went into roller derby and was at first really scared of it, and then I got hit for the first time, and I thought that hurts so good, like I want to do that again, and so it just kind of came naturally. I wanted something that was kind of like my name, but also kind of punny.
Megahertz is our guest here, and the season finale, if you have never come out, it is a family event. It's completely fun, all ages. This Saturday, Shasta Roller Derby, they are a nonprofit. They do an awful lot for the community, always have some type of community element to every game I've ever been where you give money back to the community. Saturday, they'll be playing on their nemesis. They're, I'm sure, a lot of good friends from Chico, the NorCal Roller Girls. They say it's for a fun, hard-hitting night of action, and it is here at Big League Dreams in Reading where we are broadcasting tonight, talking to some of the players. They do have bleachers here, but you can bring your own comfy chair, and in fact, you come early and get set up because there's plenty of room.
Get your prime seating. Get
your prime seating because the fun begins, and it is, as I said, all ages. And of course, they've got snacks and all the beverages here that they have open normally at Big League Dreams. So, Megahertz joining us. You're a Reading lady. So,
yes, I am.
But again, one of my preconceptions wrong. I thought every one of you was like an all CIF athlete because you are athletes, but in high school or college or whatever. And for you, roller derby was where it clicked, right?
Yeah, I dabbled in a lot of different things. So when I was much younger, I tried gymnastics and it was fun, but I wasn't really into doing it competitively. And then I tried volleyball and realized that I don't really have the hand-eye coordination for it. And I tried some soccer as well. But once I started playing roller derby, I realized this was the sport for me.
And, it is a fast sport. I mean, we talked a little bit about the oval. When you're out there, and I know that there's shifts and, not everybody plays the whole match or anything like that usually, but the fact of the matter is, you can't just train one night a week, right? I mean, you've got to be in pretty good shape out here.
No, yeah, you definitely, cross-training is encouraged. So we do practice twice a week, but a lot of us do a lot of gym time outside of that as well.
And then, of course, we also attend some like neighboring scrimmages, sometimes up in Mount Shasta. The Jefferson roller derby team gets together and we'll do a scrimmage with them, or, you know, go to different clinics where we can learn different skills, because it's a really rapidly growing sport. So there's all sorts of fun activities involved. There's a roller con every year, which is kind of like Comic-Con, but for roller derby. So a lot of our skaters like to go to that too. So, yeah.
A lot of fun. You can learn more about them, by the way. They're very active on their Facebook page. They have an Instagram, also their website as well. And you can, if you're interested in supporting, you're interested in playing. I don't know, the next one probably wouldn't be until the spring, but I know you have open events where you invite people to come out.
Yeah, so we practice on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7:30 at Big League Dreams here in Reading. And then we also practice from 9 to noon on Sundays here as well at Big League. So everyone's welcome if you want to come try it out, or if you just want to watch and kind of see what it's about. We're pretty open to new skaters coming in at all times. So we have a newbie coach that's actually out there right now, teaching our newbies how to get ready to be bout worthy and get out there and hit people. So there's plenty of people to teach you how to do it, and loaner gear. So yeah, good way to help you get started.
You tell us about the match. Tell us about Chico.
So Chico, they are kind of like our sister league, and we have a fun kind of rivalry with them. So they're kind of like our rivals, and they just recently became a fully sanctioned WFTA league. So that's WFTDA, Women's Flat Track Derby Association, which means they now get to play for international ranking. So that's a really big deal. So we're really excited to get to play them because this is our first time getting to play them as a WFTA league.
Which gives you a chance to gain points, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that, because I have been watching, and steadily, you know, it takes a long time when you can only play so many matches against opponents like that. Now, what is that all about? And, you know, why is that important to you guys, to that WFTA and seeing your ranking go up?
So it's really important because being a part of the WFTA association means that we get to play games where we get to get ranked internationally. We get a higher level of reffing available as well. So it's a higher level of gameplay. It's more competitive. I think we actually just went up about 6 spots in our last round robin kind of style tournament that we had last weekend. A couple weekends ago. So we went up in ranking because of that as well. So it's all about point spread. So it's kind of a lot like football, where if you're supposed to win by a certain amount, you want to make that point spread as big as possible so that you can go up in rankings.
Now, how have the matches been against the NorCal Derby girls? Who is the upper hand when you've played them?
So we have had the upper hand in the past, but with them becoming a WFTA league, it's getting more and more competitive. So I'm really excited to see what game they bring to the table, because I think it's going to be challenging and fun. We're talking to Megahertz. It's Megan Fulham-Clark, who is a local woman, part of Shasta Roller Derby, and you know, we're going up until 7 o'clock. Got a couple more minutes with you, and I'm not meaning to surprise you here, but there is a charitable element to what you do, and I know I've seen the women volunteer at events as well. Tell us a little bit about that as much as you can. Yeah, so because we are a nonprofit organization, a portion of our proceeds goes towards giving back to the community, because a big part of our mission statement is giving back to the community, being a part of it, and being a positive place for, you know, people to come and experience a really fun sport and encourage and build each other up. So part of that is getting involved in our community and making positive changes. So we've in the past given out to NorCal Outreach. We've done Pets Without Partners, which everyone really loves because we bring pets and people get to adopt fun puppies. So it's always really fun. There's always something involved where we're giving back. Actually, last year we did give a portion of our proceeds to the NorCal Roller Derby League, because with the fires, a lot of them lost gear. They lost their homes. So
it's all about supporting each other and helping each other because we really just want to watch this sport grow, and it's fun to be a part of it.
One of the great joys to me, obviously, is obviously the athletic part of it, the family part of it, but also at a time where, opportunities for women, we'd like, in sports, there aren't enough of them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really am pulling for the success, the continued growth of this. Like any other growing league, that has to feel good for you and the rest of the women on this team.
Yes. Yeah, because a lot of our teammates here have played other sports. We have a couple that are, soccer players as well. So it's kind of nice and a little bit of a turn on the original status quo to be involved in a sport that's very much positively, female dominated, and it's very much about equality and being really accepted of people from all different walks of life. So it's really just kind of a nice, safe place to come and, get all your aggression out and also be, competitive and be part of a team sport.
And that whole camaraderie thing, it's one thing I try to tell people. One thing I've always loved about, for example, women's college sports is that, guys are so, I don't want to be general. I'm a guy and I don't want to overgeneralize. But it seems that just the team competition never loses the team part of it. I'm sure there's egos and all that, but that's one thing that I think just makes it that much more watchable. It's clear as a group of people, you're not out for individual honors out here.
Yes. And actually, there's a really great saying that one of our more famous roller derby people, she's part of a Division I league, skated with Texas Roller Girls, Smarty Pants. She says this really great thing. Jammers, the people with the stars on their heads that get the points, they tend to be kind of the star of the show. But really, jammers, they just collect points. Blockers get the points, and jammers are just there to collect them. So I play as a jammer, and I know that if I'm not communicating with my team and if I'm not taking advantage of the offense that they're giving me, or if I'm not telling them what I want, then neither of us are going to be successful. So it's always a give and take. There's no star of the team.
Well, they are an awful lot of fun to watch. We're out here with Shasta Roller Derby in advance of Saturday's season finale, 2019 finale. And we've been talking with Megahertz. That's Megan Fulham-Clark. And when we come back, if we can drag her off there, Grizzly Bear is going to join us. And Megan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys have a blast on Saturday, and we're going to try to get some people out here. Get out here early Saturday. All right, going to head to break here on Scorecard Scribblings. I'm Brent Weber. Thanks to Megan, Catherine, and Alesia so far. We'll be back with our final segment in just a moment.
We didn't know, didn't even see the tide change. But it's a small, small world, girl, getting even smaller every day. I bet you think we didn't know, didn't even see the tide change. But it's a small, small world, girl, getting even smaller every day. You got them all by the balls, causing waterfalls, stone walls, bar bras, Carmen stalls at concert halls. To you they crawl, bodies sprawls, flipping palm malls, close calls, stand tall, doll, you make them feel so small.
Yes, indeed. We are talking roller derby tonight, playing some songs there from the Whip It soundtrack. This is a blast for me. I've been coming out here a little bit for pretty much almost since I got here a few years ago. Coming up on Saturday, here at Big League Dreams, where we're broadcasting from tonight, the Shasta Roller Derby will have their final match of the season, final game, final event, and it is an event against the NorCal Roller Girls. Those are the ones from down in Chico. Big match, big matchup, and pregame at 5:30. Get out, bring your chairs, bring your blankets, whatever. You're inside, but people do that. So especially if you've got kids or you're bringing those. Match begins at 6:30. And tickets are only $5 this time. Because you want to fill the house. I'm joined now by my friend Grizzly Bear, number 810. Caleb Brisbane, who's we met the very first time I came out here, but you want to fill this place on Saturday, and usually you can if you try, right?
We do, absolutely. That's why we've lowered the price. That's why we're focusing on the fact that children 10 and under are free, along with our active duty military and our veterans. They're all free. We just want to build a strong community event around women's athletics, and we are aunties and moms ourselves, so this is a family-friendly event. We've got kids running around all the time. We've got a halftime game. We've got a kiddo right now. We've got the coach and Swift and Mize's son, Harrison. We usually have a handful of kids around. We're just a family-oriented bunch who loves to play a competitive, hard-hitting sport.
Not to start right out with the sappy stuff, but I don't think I've ever forgotten when I talked to you the first time. And this is important, I think, for all women, all boys and girls, actually, to find a place where they belong physically. You feel safe, emotionally, spiritually, and not putting words in your mouth, but you kind of told me this is that place for you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So I'm a kiddo from this community. I moved to Shasta County when I was 6. And I left at 17, and I didn't think I'd ever come back. But, you know, life has a wild way of working out, and I came back 3 years ago, and I really needed a community. I needed somewhere that I felt connected to. I needed new friends. I wasn't connected with my high school past much anymore, and I needed an outlet. And I messaged the Shasta Roller Derby page, and they were more than welcoming, even said that there was loaner gear I could borrow. They would teach me how to skate and stop, and that, you know, no matter who I was or how I was coming to them, that they would accept me. And that was August 10th, and that's why I'm 8'10". That's my number. I pretty much eat, sleep, breathe roller derby because this is my family. When someone is hurt or sick or sad, and we rally around each other, and we also hang out twice a week and play a hard-hitting sport. So it's a really great community, and we are a community not just for our skaters. We're a community for our volunteers, our coaches, our refs, our fans. We accept people of all size, shapes, colors, genders, whatever you want to give. If you want to be a part of this community, that's what we're about. So, yeah.
And I see the stamp, the purple stamp of Shasta Roller Derby out there at a lot of events. And, in fact, it was fun hearing Alesia. I think it was Alesia who said she saw the commercial that you guys had done. I love when that still airs.
The Liquor Barn commercial. An accidental plug for them. But, yeah, they gave us an in-kind sponsorship and asked us to skate around, you know, probably thousands, millions, maybe not millions, a lot of money worth of liquor, and we didn't break anything. So, yeah, that thing's still floating around the community. You can find it on Facebook.
And I think I saw stuff that you guys donated at one of the at the Shasta, at the mud run, one of the mud runs too.
We've worked with the mud run before. We always pick a nonprofit to benefit from the events that we host. So although we make a very minor, if any, profit ourselves, because it does take money to do these kind of things, we typically donate $200 to $300 to a local nonprofit. We've donated to the United Way. We've donated to the local fire funds. Last year around this time, we donated to the Campfire Fund that was specific for some of the NorCal roller girls who lost their homes. And we're really excited they're coming back to play us on Saturday. It's a tough month for them and for us. And playing roller derby and getting together and having a good time is a nice release from that. But, yeah, we try to build in some philanthropy work with the work that we do. We try to sponsor some events, give raffle baskets. I've got a raffle basket in my car for a local nonprofit right now. And yeah, we just really try to give however we can, and we found a lot of great partnerships. Riverside Eye sponsors us, Los Gordos. Shout out to all the wonderful companies.
Please do it if you can rattle them off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your website, of course, a lot of fun, a lot of great information on there. Shasta Roller Derby. ShastaDerby.org.
ShastaDerby.org. Our website is a great landing spot to look for some basic information, but I encourage everyone, if you're on social media, to follow us. Facebook is definitely a little bit more exciting. Shasta Roller Derby on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram at Shasta Roller Derby. And just check out the events that we're doing. We, give shout outs to our sponsors. We were at an event last Friday with Riverside. We talk about the different things that we're going to do in the community, and of course share our season schedule, which we don't have the 2020 schedule locked in yet, but we're working on that and looking forward to a really exciting year.
Well, there I see the star going on. Is that Swift Demise that pulled the star? And who pulled the star on her helmet?
That's Wrecking
Doll. That's Wrecking Doll.
Yeah, not one of our typical jammers, but we believe that everyone can do everything here, so we kind of make everyone try out new spots.
And there's one of the co-captains out here, and right?
Yep, that's Mayday is one of our co-captains, and Swift Demise, they're our captains this year. Swift's been playing for a handful of years. A lot of people know her. She's a big, awesome member of our community, active through her work, her professional work. And Mayday is a newer skater of ours. I think she's been around about a year and a half, 2 years. Another amazing member of our community, works in medical field, helping save lives every day, and then comes out and helps us on the track.
We've only got a couple of more minutes, but what do people expect? You play 4 quarters?
We actually play 2 halves.
2 halves.
2 halves.
I have been out here, but...
That's okay. I don't expect you to pay attention to those technical details. That's not the fun part about it. The fun part is just to come out and watch the sport, ask questions if you have them. Many of our families were once upon a time clueless about roller derby, but can now help explain it. So we're always encouraging people to ask questions. It's pretty simple. If you break it down, we've got 2 walls, 4 blockers in each of those walls, and 1 jammer with a star on her helmet. She tries to get past those walls to score points. We score points with our hips, passing other hips. And other than that, just look for the fun hits and the contact, because people are usually pretty surprised that we play more like football and rugby where there's legal contact zones. It's not like the old school 70s derby where we throw punches and things like that. It takes a lot of skill to be able to hit legally.
Right, and some of that back in those days, some of it was a theatrical element. The ones that were seen on TV, they mixed in more of that kind of stuff. But this is just competition.
Full sport, all volunteer. We don't get paid to play. Like I said, we all have full-time jobs. Many of us work really hard, over 40 hours a week in the community doing awesome things, and then get to come out here and just play a sport for fun. We are a nonprofit ourselves, so we're always looking for sponsors. We're looking for donations. We've started climbing the ranks internationally. We're currently ranked 235 out of 365 worldwide teams. That might sound like a lower end of the spectrum number, but we're darn proud of that. We started January 2019 at 320-ish. So, yeah, we're making some headway and making a name for ourselves in far Northern California.
And you will have a chance to gain points against a newly christened team in the rankings, right?
You're right.
This weekend.
Yes, NorCal Roller Girls has been working hard the last couple years to gain their what's called WIFTA status. We are sanctioned by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and they have just gained their sanctioned status. So this is our first official internationally ranked game against what we would call our biggest rival, yet we don't really have big rivals. They're also our closest sister league, and like I said, we helped them out, and they helped us out during our fire catastrophes last year. So, yeah, come on out, see a hard-hitting game this Saturday, 6 o'clock. Bring your chairs. Doors open at 5:30 if you want to come out early. We've got tacos. We've got beverages. Again, only $5, and it's just a good old family fun time.
Everybody, Grizzly Bear, thank you so much for joining us, Kayla.
Thank you, Brent, for having us and always being a good spokesperson for us.
Big fan, and a big fan of just good old-fashioned sport. That's good for the family and people having a good time. I want to thank Grizzly Bear. That's Kaylee Brisbane. I'm going to let her go back to practice. There's no blood today. It's just practice. I want to thank Megahertz, Megan Fulham-Clark, Catherine Sampson, my good friend Crash and Burn, Alesia Barnett, who is Mama Smackdown, number 707. And I'd like to thank you for joining us. My producer, Jared King, back in the studio. Thanks so much, Jared. Saturday, 5:30, pre-match, 6:30. They start. They'll go a couple hours. It's a good family event. Hope you can come out and check out some roller derby for real. Everybody come out and enjoy it. Thanks for joining us on Scorecard Scribblings. I'm Brent Weber. We'll see you next Wednesday night.